Hi there. Happy Sunday. Have you ever had conversations where you feel like it's just not going anywhere? Maybe you've taken some communication classes and you still feel like you're not doing a good job in engaging your employees, being heard, being able to influence people, getting them to do what they need to do. Well, I have an ICF coach. She's actually one of the founding members of the International Coaching Federation, and I want to introduce you to her. My name is Dr. Elsie Coe. I'm the CEO and founder of Lead Physician Leadership Program, and I'm also the Chief Medical Officer of American Endovascular and Amputation Prevention. Please go to our YouTube site to see a lot of free videos that are really going to be helpful for leadership development for you. And Lead Physician is really about building your passion, your purpose, and understanding that your potential is way more than what you probably think right now. Marcia Reynolds, let me introduce you to her in just a minute, but let me just give you some background information before I bring her on. Marcia Reynolds, she's my coach. She's my mentor. She is a president of her own platform called Covisioning. Um, she's the president of Covisioning LLC. She has a doctorate in organizational psychology, 2 master's degrees in learning and psychology and communication. Very few people reach this level being the master certified coach in ICF. She's one of 20 recognized by ICF in their global circle of distinction for her contributions to coaching. And she's really been all over the world in 43 countries. And not only that, she's written 4 books, uh, books that are, I highly recommend them. I actually bought them all myself. And the latest one is Coach the Person and Not the Problem, which has been my problem learning to be a better coach. So, without further ado, let me bring her on board. Marcia, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you, Elsie. It's my pleasure.
Marcia, thank you. What we're talking about today is using the coaching approach to all conversations. And this really can help. This is a leadership platform for physicians and healthcare leaders. And how is it that coaching approach can help us in conversations? I've learned so much from you, and I even had insight recently this past week from you. And as physicians, we're so used to giving orders and telling people what to do. Tell us about this coaching approach that you talk about so often?
Well, Elsie, one of the first things is overcoming habits of that, and that people want us to tell them what to do. And that's truly shifted. People want to be listened to, they want to be heard, and to feel that their opinion is important. So, coaching, there's the what you do, the being curious and being patient in your listening with them, and to ask clarification questions. What do they mean when they say that? To really try to understand how they see their situation. But then there's the other side of it. It's also the presence we bring. And physicians are so busy going from here to here to here to here, to stop and just look at someone and be fully present with them, that oftentimes that's even more important than the words you say, that people feel, I am here for you.
Mm, mhm, mhm. So, you've written so many articles. I really appreciate reading them. And one of them, you talk about how you shouldn't use the word feedback. How you shouldn't say, "I'm giving you feedback right now," because it shuts them down. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. There was some research I read a few years ago where they mapped in the brain that even using the word feedback actually has the same reaction in the brain as if you held a gun to someone's head.
That's
It
crazy.
just has a stress response and so we tighten up. And when we tighten up, we're not open to receive anyway. And then we either get defensive or shut down. So, and words have impact. So instead of saying, would you be open to some ideas, some suggestions, is
Mm.
far more powerful than saying, I'd like to give you some feedback.
Yes, yes. And you know what? That's something that we do. We don't really learn the language of communication. We learn how
Mhm.
to give because that's how we treat our patients. We tell
Mhm.
them what to do. We don't often I mean, we might ask them how do they want to it turn out. But in the end, they're looking for direction from us. So that's very powerful. So I want to talk a little bit about how, maybe give you some examples, a little bit more examples of how the coaching approach may allow us to engage our employees more than, you say that as soon as one of the articles you wrote is why you should stop going to communication workshops, and I love that. By the way, there's a bunch of free articles that you can get if you go to our website, which I'll show you at the end. So please stay to the end, and you'll get all these freebies, which are so powerful. So can you talk a little bit about that? I went to we all go to these workshops. That's what we like to do as physicians, but we come out of there and we seem to not have learned anything.
Well, the difference between training and coaching, and please understand, I've been a trainer for over 30 years, that training is an event and coaching is a process. So training can inspire you to try. But as soon as it feels awkward or just, I don't have time for that, I mean, we have all these reasons in our head, we quit doing it, and so that was always my frustration is I kept researching, what does it take for people to learn and grow in the classroom? And I would do exercises and participation, and people at the end would say, wow, this was awesome. But then they'd still go back to old behavior. So it wasn't until I found coaching, and that's actually what inspired me to get my doctorate, was I needed to understand what happens in the brain differently when we coach people than when we tell them. Well, telling and even training just uses the cognitive brain, which is short-term memory. So even when we pull it back, the memories out, we always change our memories when we try to pull them out. And short-term memory is just that. It's not necessarily embedded. Where coaching actually works in the same creative process where you have that aha moment actually happens in the middle brain. And there's long-term memory there's emotions, there's things that we store, and we put things together differently. But you see, when I coach, you're putting these things together, not me telling you. And so it's like, you start to see things differently, then all of a sudden you'll have this aha moment, and that embeds in your brain. And you actually, in a way that you see yourself and the world differently, which automatically changes behavior.
Yeah.
So as a leader, if you really want people to change and grow, don't tell them what to do, because it's not going to work. But if you coach them, just a coaching approach of being curious, of appreciating how they see it in this moment, and then reflecting back to them what you hear them say so they can see their thinking. And then we ask questions about that. That makes all the sparking going on here, and putting things together in a different way that changes perception, which then changes behavior.
You're giving back the power to the person you're speaking to come up with the ideas, because they're already, a lot of times you're speaking to people already knowledgeable of how. They just need to uncover it
Right.
themselves. And once they uncover it themselves and they hear themselves speak it out, and they're the ones who came up with it, they're more likely to follow through with what needs to be done instead of you telling them what to do. That's what you're saying, right?
That's exactly it. And then they commit. Then they commit.
So the
Yeah.
book that is behind you there, Coach the person. Oop, let me go back here. Coach the person, not the problem. Is this what this is all about?
Yeah, well, Elsie, what you said, that I think the most significant thing is to recognize that the people we are with are smart and they know things. And so let's not treat them as if they're inadequate and they don't have it. It's like they know what to do, but what's getting in their way of doing it? That's much more powerful than telling them you should do this. So because then we're helping them think more broadly, and you're developing their minds, not just looking at options, pros and cons, and how can I solve this problem, but you're expanding the mind of the person.
Yep. I feel like the more autonomy and more empowerment we give to our employees to be creative and think of the solutions when there are problems, the easier it's going to be for everyone and the organization to run smoothly. That's what you're
Right.
doing. You're fostering people to come up with the solutions.
Yeah. Well, if you look back at at Daniel Pink's original research, that he said the three things that most motivate people are autonomy, help me to do this on my own, mastery, to do it at my best, and purpose. And why am I doing this?
Mhm.
And coaching fits right into that. It creates the autonomy, the mastery, and then I also remember who I am and the difference I'm making for others.
Yep. There's
Mhm.
also a book called The 1 Minute Manager. It's a very thin, quick book to read,
Yeah,
and
it's an
it's all
old classic. Yeah.
yeah, and it talks about how he only needs 1 minute to manage people in different sectors because he is giving them the autonomy to be able to make
Yeah.
those decisions. So thank you so much. This is so great. So if you gave maybe I don't know if I'll put you on the spot there, but if you gave like 3 top things to be really to start, obviously you can't be a master at this, but to start learning this coaching approach in all conversations, what would that be in summary?
Well, the first thing is that you don't have to be perfect. And, they want you to be present. They don't need you to be perfect. So just go out and again, be patient, be curious, reflect back what you hear, and then ask questions. So, it's a simple process to use the approach, so don't make it harder than
Yes.
it truly is. So use compassion and curiosity when
Yeah,
you're listening to people.
I love that. Be present, be patient, be
Be
curious.
curious.
Yes,
Very good.
yes. And then when you start asking questions,
Mhm.
instead of telling, before you tell them, and Simon Sinek says, "Be the last one to speak." The leader should speak last. And why is that? Because then people can be more forthcoming with their ideas and not be not stop giving ideas because they heard what the leader's opinion was.
Right.
So it's kind of
Well, and the last thing I want to share is that when you do that, people feel more safe with you and that you're not going to judge them. And psychological safety is critical
yes.
in all of our conversations. Yeah.
Yes, so good.
Mhm.
So, you know what, you have a website that I wanna share with you because I downloaded all of these articles. I just wanna read off some of the names because I mean, this grabbed my attention. I couldn't stop reading it. You have why you should stop going to communication workshops, how to have the conversations you've been avoiding, the greatest fear leaders have, preparing your emotion state and a mental outlook, how to have a positive, powerful presence, 4 steps to make sure people feel good when they are with you. I love that. I mean, this is so why feedback doesn't work and what to do instead. The most underrated emotion that can drive success. I can go on and on. And you give this all out for free just by signing up for your website. So let me just bring up your website here, covisioning.com. Is that where people should go to find this?
Absolutely, and I'm going to give you a secret. If you type in the search "coach the person resources," it'll actually send you to a hidden page that has videos and other articles I've written for magazines and a visualization of being able to be fully present with others. So there's um, just type that in the search and you'll find that special page.
Wow. Okay. And also you do coaching. So can you talk a little bit about what's available, what's upcoming this summer?
Well, I do coach individual leaders around the world, but I've been teaching. I like to say I'm a coach's coach, and I teach. I'm on faculty in the U.S. at the Healthcare Coaching Institute, but I'm also on faculty in the Philippines, in China, in Russia, and I teach coaches around the world. And a year ago, with WBECS, the World Business and Executive Coaching Summit, we launched a special program called Breakthrough Coaching. And, our inaugural program had over 900 coaches from around the world sign up. And then
Wow.
we did an advanced coaching program but you have to go through the initial one. So we decided that this September, we're going to launch it in August, that we're going to launch the Breakthrough Coaching Program again, but in a self-study format. So you can learn on your own at your own timing. You don't have to log in at a certain time for the class. But there will be exercises. You join the community, you'll have different people to work through exercises. There's coaching tools. Every month I'm going to do a live Q&A that we'll record. And once you go through that program, then you can join the Elevate program, which is a private community where there's actually live mentoring, and I do a coaching demo for them every month. So there's additional tools, more advanced coaching. But you got to go through the breakthrough first.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
How do you find this program?
And you know what? Because we're just finalizing all the details now, the best thing is to go to covisioning.com, and a little box will pop up and say, you want to subscribe. You'll get all those articles like once a month, and I'll be announcing the program there. Or find me on LinkedIn, because I always announce everything I do on LinkedIn as well.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for what you do, and thank you for coaching me to be a better leader and communicate better. This is Dr. Elsie Coe. If you have a topic on leadership, please reach out to me at info@drelsiecoe.com. And if you are looking for leadership training and you're a physician, go to leadphysician.org, and we will be starting at the end of this summer, to be announced shortly. So any last words of wisdom for our viewers?
I love that people are interested in this and being able to change the conversation, so we're uplifting people's spirit as well as expanding their mind.
Thank you so much. Thank you for teaching us. And I see you again next Sunday, guys. Take care.